I'm Jessica Lombard, Associate Superintendent.
And I'm Superintendent John Berkey, and this is Huntley 158 Today. Well, Jessica, something we're really proud of in our school district are our fine arts programs, which start all the way at our kindergarten level and work all the way through high school.
We have some fantastic programs here, and as you've said, from early elementary all the way up, and we've really seen over the last few years these programs expand, and that's pretty exciting.
Well, they touch all our kids at the elementary level, and then by middle school and high school, kids can really begin to specialize, whether it's instrumental, whether it's theater, and our visual art programs, and very, very positive. So today's show is actually going to be tied into the arts, and we actually have
it's pretty exciting.
We actually have a Grammy winner with us today. I don't think our show's ever had a Grammy winner.
No, it has
before.
Not. This is the first for everything.
This is pretty big time for us.
So I'd like to introduce one of our staff members who we have with us from Chesak Elementary, our music teacher, Leanne Runyonwood, and Bill Harley, who is one of our Grammy Award winner, who has won a few Grammys that he'll tell us about in just a few moments for children's songwriting. Leanne, you've been working on bringing Bill to the district. He's done some work both at Chesak and Martin here recently, but this has been a long time coming. Tell us a little bit about why you were interested in bringing him and how did you get him to come to Huntley?
Well, I was teaching at Chesak for about 4 or 5 years, and I wound up doing a few classes over at Martin where the kids are older, and I said to Mr. and Mrs. Mullane, I have no idea what to do for sub plans, and they said, oh, put in a Bill Harley CD. I'm like, okie dokie. And the kids, when I came back, were like, when can we listen to that again? We want to listen to that again. And then one of my subs said, I'll sub for you anytime. When can I listen to that again? I was like, the kids loved it so much that I've used them ever since, and I thought if we had a chance to have him come in person, the kids would love that too, and they did.
So how did you go about getting him to come in person?
I think I started sending emails
to
his office
3
years ago to try and
this
figure
was a long
out.
time in the
It really
making.
took a long time because I had never done it before. I had no idea how this was going to work. So yeah, it took a really long time.
Well, it ended up working out. And Bill, it's very good to have you in District 158.
It's great. It really is great to be here and see all the work that Leanne and everybody's done. Usually, I book, I have like a year or so out, and so, and the little secret is my wife Debbie. She kept her last name, so her name's Debbie Block. So she does my booking, and I always say, if you want people to come, if you want me to come, if Debbie likes you, I'll come. It has
So
nothing
Debbie's
to do,
the secret.
It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with me. She'll say, you're going to go here because I like Leanne, so you're going to go do this. So that's kind of how that happened. It took a while, but yeah.
So you do quite a few different things. You write children's books. You sing. You tell us about all the different things that you do.
I told the kids in one of the schools, I was a kid who was out of his seat all the time. And Ed had a very hard time focusing, and I still do. I write books. I've written a bunch of kids' books. I'm a songwriter. I've written hundreds of songs and have 35 recordings out. And I'm also a storyteller. I'm really interested in orality and literacy and how those two interact, and that storytelling is really kind of the heart of what it is to be human. And so I've always felt like song and story and dance, which I don't do, those have always gone together. They're kind of put in the realm of the arts, but it's really about who we are as people, and literacy is connected to movement, is connected to song, so all those things, I see how they work together in my life, and that's one of the things I'm kind of trying to share with kids and the adults that are around them.
You definitely have a passion for what you said before the show, your people, the small children, and you did a few concerts for us. You were in classrooms. Why do you feel it is so important for young children to get involved in this creative outlet?
Well, learning is both cognitive and affective. It has to do with the heart and the head, or feeling and the mind and thinking. And one of the things that story and song does is it unites those things. And when you tell a story to somebody, you're not just making this kind of cognitive connection, you're making an emotional connection. We understand things through story. We don't understand them through like the memorization of facts and figures. And when you put something into a story or you put it into a song, people carry it with them. And so I think that's one of the things I do. And I guess the other thing for me is what I'm really trying to do is I'm not so prescriptive as I am descriptive in my work. I feel like my job is to say to kids is, did this happen to me, did it happen to you? And it assumes the intelligence of the audience to kind of make those connections themselves. And then, like, if you know somebody's story, then you can imagine who they were. It helps you imagine who you might become if you have a lot of stories. So I feel like the more stories a kid hears, the more songs they hear, the bigger palette of pattern they're going to be able to draw from themselves. So it's kind of a sneaky way of them learning, you know? We forget that story is really the way people learn, and it's my job to do that.
So were you interested in music when you were a young elementary student, or did that come later?
I did. I took those piano lessons, you know, those ones, like, did you practice today? And I played trumpet in junior high school and high school band. My brother, my older brother, is a classical musician. He plays the French horn. And my dad, I have a song called Daddy Played the Phonograph, which is like, he was not a musician, but we listened to music all the time. So it was part of me growing up. And then when I got to college,
I would be like your daddy.
yeah,
So
that's important too.
I'm very good. I'm very good at listening to music.
That is, well,
Yes.
I got to tell you, I was walking down the high school here, and they were playing. I guess some of the kids get to choose the songs that they
Sure.
Yeah.
And I heard that as like they're playing a Marvin Gaye, "Ain't No Mountain High Enough." I said, somebody's been playing music for their kids, you know, that they heard those songs. And so we forget that stuff that they first hear, they're going to carry it with them their whole lives. And that's why it's so important that, like, I mean, I was just so delighted to hear how much you get into the kids, work with the kids 2-3 times a week, because that they're going to carry it with them their whole life. And you can't, those things are really hard to measure. I mean, somebody's come up with some measurement of it, but, you know, measurement of the heart is a difficult thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now you literally have visited thousands of schools.
I
So
have.
why do you go to so many schools, and do you enjoy that venue? I know it's children's books, but you must really enjoy being around kids.
Yeah, I mean, you know, someone said, "Why do you work in schools?" It's like what Willie Sutton said about robbing banks. Like, that's where the money is. Like, that's where the kids are. But there is something. You know, I do a lot of family shows, and I like those. But school shows, you got these group of kids, and we're all experiencing something. And I feel like they're getting an access to language. I see it in some kids' eyes. Like, if they don't see me in performance, they're not going to see live performance. A lot of these kids who don't have a lot of the advantages that, you know, I feel like I'm their first experience at you know, you almost see them like having the remote control gun. Like, they're looking around. It's the first time they see that. So there's that. And I also, you know, I want to give them like a love of language, that it's not just this breaking down into these like little tasks and little things. There's like a whole love of language and music that you want to kind of try to pass on. And I feel like if I show up, like, do a 45-minute guerrilla attack on the school, and everybody's laughing or has been moved after they go out of there, it carries on. Like, when I do the family shows, the next day in the school, if you walk in, you can just feel like everybody went through something together, that it's built, because story is really about community. Song is really, in the end, about community. So that's kind of what I'm doing, you know, even for just a little bit.
Now, at Martin, all of the students read a book that you wrote. Tell us a little bit about that book.
Yeah, all the kids at Martin read one of my books, Charlie Bumpers versus the Teacher of the Year, which is the first in a book series. There's 6 of them now. I'm just finishing the 7th one. The 7th one is the last one, and it kind of takes a 4th grader through the year. So in this first book, he finds out that he has a teacher that he does not want, and he's got a particular reason for that. And that book has been part of this One Book, One School program. So I've ended up going in to schools, you know, to talk to kids about the book. And it kind of hits the sweet spot for that elementary school age. There's enough emotional, it's a fairly easy read as a chapter book, but emotionally it's right even for 4th and 5th graders. They're carrying it through too. And once again, to have a whole school be part of one thing. It's amazing for me, because you walk into a school, whole school's read the book, you're kind of like a rock star for a day. You know, you can't do too much wrong at that point if they've read the book and liked it.
Well, Leanne, I really want to thank you for organizing and getting Bill to be able to come here. That was great, a great experience for our kids. And Bill, really want to thank you for visiting Huntley 158 and for all the work you do for kids all over the country.
Well,
So-
thank you. It's really great to be here. I've just had a great time. Everybody's been so kind, and I love it. I grew up in the Midwest. Grew up in Indiana, so I live in Massachusetts. But I get back here and driving down those roads, I know what these cornfields feel like. So
Yeah.
it feels great.
And thank you for doing 158 today.
Thank you
so
so
appreciate
much.
you being on our show. And thank you for watching Huntley 158 today, where we are a destination school district.
Where it's all students, always.